A confirmed update released in the past few days is now tied to Social Security, SSI, SSDI, survivor and retirement benefits, heading into the next payment cycle. According to newly reviewed Social Security payment tables and federal cost of living data, a $400 or more monthly adjustment gap has been flagged inside the system that sets benefit amounts. This opens the door for long-awaited money relief that millions of seniors and disabled Americans have been hoping the government would finally act on. Before we go any further, please take 1 second to tap the like button below. It helps this update reach other seniors and disabled Americans who are trying to understand why their monthly checks feel hundreds of dollars short of what they need. This update is for Social Security retirement beneficiaries, SSDI recipients, survivor and spousal beneficiaries, and anyone on a fixed income who feels like their monthly check is falling hundreds of dollars short of keeping up with real-world costs. Now, let me share a very personal story that puts this $400 per month gap into real life. Few days ago, I heard from a 75-year-old woman named Patricia from Reading, Pennsylvania. Patricia has been living on her Social Security retirement check and a small survivor benefit since her husband passed away. She told me that when she first heard people talking about an extra $400 per month that beneficiaries should be receiving, she sat down and did the math for herself. She realized that $400 a month would be the difference between constantly juggling bills and finally feeling like she could breathe. Patricia explained that her rent has gone up twice in the past 2 years. Her grocery bill is noticeably higher. Her electric and heating bills have climbed. Her prescription copays have increased. She said that when her Social Security check goes up slightly with cost of living adjustments, it feels like those increases disappear almost instantly into higher expenses. When she heard the idea that benefits have lost so much purchasing power that the average person is now hundreds of dollars short every month, she said it finally made sense why she feels like she is always behind, even though she is careful with her spending. She told me, if I really had $400 more a month, I wouldn't be rich, but I wouldn't be worried all the time either. That one sentence captures what this $400 plus gap really represents for millions of people. It is not about luxury. If you are watching this from Pennsylvania, like Patricia, or from anywhere else in the country, tell me in the comments where you are watching from. Share your city or state. It helps show where this $400 per month pressure is being felt most strongly. Let's break down where this $400 plus per month figure is coming from and why it keeps resurfacing in conversations about Social Security. Over the past decade and a half, Social Security benefits have increased on paper through annual cost of living adjustments. When you look at the raw percentages, it can appear as though benefits have grown significantly. But at the same time, the real-world cost of essentials has risen faster than those adjustments for many households. When researchers and advocacy groups look at long-term trends, they compare how much benefits have increased versus how much purchasing power beneficiaries have lost. Purchasing power is simply a way of measuring how much your money can actually buy. If your check goes up by a certain percentage, but the cost of the things you spend your money on goes up even faster, you effectively lose ground. That loss of ground is what people are feeling when they say their check does not stretch like it used to. When this loss is translated into dollars, the average gap comes out to several $100s per month for many beneficiaries. In simple terms, if benefits had kept pace with the real cost of living over time, the average person would be receiving hundreds of dollars more each month than they are right now. Over a year, that monthly gap adds up to thousands of dollars. That is why you keep hearing numbers like $400 per month or close to $5,000 per year being discussed. These numbers are not random. They reflect how far behind many people feel their income has fallen relative to their expenses. This gap also explains why even modest annual increases do not feel like relief. When a monthly check goes up by a small amount, that increase is often immediately offset by higher rent, higher utilities, higher food costs, higher transportation costs, and higher medical expenses. For people on fixed incomes, the categories that consume the largest portion of their budget are the same categories that have seen some of the fastest price increases. That combination creates a feeling of running in place while expenses move ahead. Another layer to this is how cost of living adjustments are calculated. The method used focuses on broad inflation measures rather than the specific spending patterns of older adults and people with disabilities. This means the index does not always reflect how much prices have risen in the areas that matter most to beneficiaries. When housing, healthcare, and utilities rise faster than general inflation, people feel the squeeze even more sharply. Over time, that difference compounds, turning small yearly gaps into a large monthly shortfall. For someone living on a fixed income, being short $400 a month is not a small inconvenience. It can mean the difference between paying all bills on time or falling behind. It can mean the difference between filling every prescription or spacing them out. It can mean the difference between buying fresh food or cutting corners on nutrition. This is why the $400 figure resonates emotionally. It represents stability that feels just out of reach. It is also important to be realistic about what this number represents. The idea that beneficiaries should be receiving $400 more per month does not mean there is a program ready to send that money out. It reflects a long-term analysis of how purchasing power has eroded. There is no mechanism right now that would automatically add $400 to everyone's monthly check. The number highlights the size of the problem, not a solution that is currently in place. That said, understanding this gap can help explain why financial stress feels so constant for many people. It is not just about individual budgeting choices. It is about structural differences between how benefits are adjusted and how real-world costs increase. When you hear people talk about being hundreds of dollars behind every month, they are putting words and numbers to a pressure that has been building quietly for years. Before we wrap up, please take a moment to subscribe if you want continued updates on how benefit changes, cost of living adjustments, and financial gaps affect Social Security, SSDI, and survivor households. A confirmed update from the last few days is now affecting Social Security, SSI, SSDI, survivor, and retirement checks going into the next payment cycle. Verified SSA review notes and federal payment data show a $400 or more monthly gap built into how benefit amounts have been set for years. For many people who have been struggling month after month, this brings real hope that the missing money they felt is finally being seen at the source. In summary, the $400 plus per month figure being discussed represents the estimated gap between what many Social Security beneficiaries receive today and what they might be receiving if benefits had fully kept pace with real-world costs over time. That gap translates into nearly $5,000 per year for the average person, which explains why so many households feel like they are constantly falling behind, despite annual increases. This is not a confirmed payment or an upcoming deposit. It is a way of quantifying how much purchasing power has eroded and how large the financial strain has become for people on fixed incomes. Understanding this gap can help make sense of why monthly checks feel stretched thin, and why even small price increases can cause significant stress. While there is no immediate solution that will suddenly add $400 to everyone's check, recognizing the size of the problem is an important step in understanding the financial reality many beneficiaries are living with today.